As chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 4:36 p.m. This Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation, and Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at www.michigan.gov/MICRC for viewing at a later date. This meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/MICRC website, along with written public comment submissions. Members of the media who may have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director for the Commission, at woodse3@michigan.gov or 517-331-6309. For the public watching and the public record, I will turn to the Department of State to take note of the commissioners present.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Please say present when I call your name. If you are attending the meeting remotely, please announce during roll call you are attending the meeting remotely, and unless your absence is due to military duty, announce your physical location by stating the county, city, township, or village and the state from which you are attending the meeting remotely. I will start with Commissioner Elaine Andrade.
Present from Imlay Township.
Imlay Township, Michigan.
Yes.
Thank you. Donna Callahan.
Yes, present from San Miguel de Allende, Mexico.
Juanita Curry.
Present and attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Anthony Eade.
Good afternoon and welcome to our 3 new members. Present, remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Brittany Kellum.
Good afternoon, present and attending from Baltimore, Maryland.
Rhonda Lang. Stephen Lett.
Present, attending from Lee County, Florida.
Marcus Muldoon.
Present from Carlton, Michigan.
Cynthia Orton.
Present, attending from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Rebecca Zatella. Janice Villette.
Present, attending from Highland Township, Michigan.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Eaton Township, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present, attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
We have 10 commissioners present. We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
You're welcome.
Now we have swearing in of our new commissioners. So without objection, I will ask Ms. Sarah Reinhardt, the MICRC secretary, to facilitate this item. Hearing no objection, please proceed, Ms. Reinhardt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will actually hand it off to Mike Brady to facilitate the swearing in.
Good afternoon. Welcome again to the Commission. My name is Michael Brady, and I'm the Chief Legal Director for the Michigan Department of State. I'm here today to administer your oath of office on behalf of Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, who is not able to make it today to the special meeting. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the
That I will-
Constitution of this state,
that I will support the Constitution of the
United
United
States,
States and the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Commissioner
of the office of Commissioner
of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission,
of the
of the
Michigan
Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your service.
Thank you and welcome again. And I think it was stated that there were 10 commissioners present, but I believe that's 11. Just for the record. And
It is 11, my apologies.
okay, thank you. So as a reminder to the public watching, you can view the agenda at www.michigan.gov/MICRC. I would now entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I
So
move.
moved.
Second move.
Okay, motion is made by Commissioner Lett and seconded by Commissioner Curry. Is there any discussion or debate on the motion? Seeing none, please raise, so it's moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as stated. So all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, raise your hand and say nay. Okay, the ayes prevail and the agenda is adopted. So without objection, we will begin the public comment portion of our agenda. Let's see. Sorry, finding my place. Hearing no objection, we will now proceed with public comment. Individuals who have signed up and indicated that they would like to provide live remote public commentary to the commission will now be allowed to do so. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you're on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you're on the phone, a voice will say that the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. I will call on you by your name. Also, please note that if you experience technical or audio issues, or we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and return to you after they are done speaking. If your audio still does not work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so that you can participate during the next public comment period at a later meeting. You will have 2 minutes to address the commission. First to provide public comment is Chris Andrews.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hi, this is Chris Andrews from Hazlitt. Welcome to the new members. I appreciate your commitment to a strong democracy. The purpose of Proposal 2 of 2018 was to create fair statewide maps where the party that typically wins the most votes gets the most seats. It ends gerrymandering. I commend the Commission for incorporating the voices of the public in your decisions and making a good faith effort to do this. By your own metrics, the current maps lean slightly Republican, but they are the fairest we have had in 40 years. It is unfair to blame the Commission for the problems with the Detroit area maps. You listen to your experts. It is imperative that if the maps are redrawn, they are at least as fair as the ones they are replacing. It can be done. The Fair Maps project is one example. The easiest adjustments may be the most unfair. We are counting on you to create fair maps for all Michiganders. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next to address the commission is Dustin Witches.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. First and foremost, I want to be the first of the ex-commissioners to welcome Donna, Elaine, and Marcus to the commission. Congratulations on being chosen. I have no doubt that all three of you will make an excellent addition to the commission, and I hope you enjoy your time, soak everything up like a sponge. It's a wild ride, let me tell you. So I wish you all the best. I didn't have a chance to actually look through the agenda today. This was all kind of last minute, but I believe there is still a motion that was made at the last meeting by Commissioner Lett to appeal the maps that were presented. I strongly urge all three of you to vote in the favor of the appeal. If it comes to that today, I don't know, but if I was there, my vote would be to appeal. Take that as you wish. And I wish all three of you the best of luck. And I yield my time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next to address the commission is Sherry Grove.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you. I'm from Washtenaw County. I just had a question. How can the commission justify an appeal given the court's comprehensive order?
We don't answer questions in this format. So we appreciate your question. Do you have anything?
Why don't you answer questions?
We don't answer questions during public comment periods.
Is there a reason for that?
Ms. Grove, you have 1 minute remaining for your public comment time.
Oh, I just wondered why questions wouldn't be answered.
It is just not our procedure to answer questions and get in discussion during public comment. We just listen to the public comments during public comment period.
Okay, thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Next to address the commission is Allie Faulkner. We can hear you.
Great. I would just like to say, as a concerned citizen, I would like to ask the commission to reflect on how much they've spent to date defending these racially gerrymandered maps. Because I think that it's a huge issue and needs to be reflected on greatly. Thank you so much. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you for addressing the commission. And Commissioner Wagner, I see your hand. We have one more public comment and then I'll call on you. The next to address the commission is Shannon Sieco. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but.
Hi, yes. You are good.
We can hear you.
I'm calling, I'm from Wayne County. I'm calling as a concerned citizen and concerned about the appeal potentially delaying justice for the Black voters in Detroit. I know you can't answer questions, but I wanted to make that and put that out there as a concern. And I yield back my time. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing the commission. Commissioner Wagner, did you have something?
I did. Thank you, Chair. I just put it in chat. Could someone please get a hold of Ms. Sherry Grove and ask her to submit that question to the commission as a whole through the website?
Excellent.
I'm happy.
Thank you.
I'm happy to do so, Commissioner Wagner.
So that ends the public comment period for this meeting. Next on our agenda, items for discussion is our Voting Rights Act Legal Counsel. Without objection, I will ask MICRC Executive Director Edward Woods III to facilitate this item. Hearing no objection. Actually, I see Commissioner Eads' hand. Do you have something?
Just a point of order. We did have a motion at the last meeting that was made and seconded, and no action was taken on it. So I believe that takes precedent unless that motion is withdrawn.
Okay. You're referring to Commissioner Lett's motion.
Yes, that is correct. That was the motion that was made and seconded at the last meeting, and then because we lost quorum, no action was taken on it. So as far as I know, that still, since it was motioned and seconded, that still stands unless it is withdrawn.
Okay. Mr. Brady or Mr. Fink, can I have some guidance? Do we go right to that, or what do we do?
I don't, excuse me, but who do we normally have serve as parliamentarian?
Mike Brady, I believe.
Yeah, if you could give us just a moment, we're looking into an answer to this question. Just one.
I mean, I have an opinion, but I don't think it's the way to, I don't think I should be the one expressing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for your patience. Apologize about that. That was a great question. So the question would still be pending and would be the first item to address under unfinished business.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner Lett, can you rephrase your motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, my motion is to file an appeal on the decision by the three-judge panel, which would consist of filing a notice of appeal and the appeal, and a motion to stay the proceedings in the district court, which we anticipate would be denied, and a motion with the U.S. Supreme Court to stay the injunction. I believe that is my motion as best as I can remember it. It certainly is the intent of what my motion was.
Thank
And
you.
it was seconded, so we're
Do,
there.
who seconded that? Do we remember?
Janice, did you second it?
Commissioner Weiss, second that.
Commissioner Weiss. Okay. So we have a motion to appeal, seconded. Is there any discussion or debate on the motion? Commissioner Eid.
Well, I can imagine this is probably very confusing for our new members, and the timing is, unfortunate that we're voting on this and y'all are new, so you might not have the background, but at the last meeting, we went into a private session with our legal team, and they laid out the pros and cons of what appealing might do.
So, point of order.
Yeah.
It wasn't a private session. I mean, I don't know what we
Right.
call it.
You're right.
Exactly. We voted to go into closed session, and then after taking a 10-minute break, we lost quorum, so we no longer had a closed session meeting. But some commissioners did have a discussion with some legal counsel. Just wanted to clear that up. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm good. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
Gordon.
Commissioner Wagner.
However, since Commissioner Eid was so fortunate in bringing up the fact that you all did have a private discussion, I would like to put it out there to the Secretary of State that I am still waiting for that audio recording, because I would like to know what was discussed. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion or debate on the motion? Okay, hearing none, I think we need a roll call vote.
Just as, sorry to interrupt, just as a point, this motion only requires a majority, which would be 7, since we are now at a full 13 members.
Thank you.
I thought we had 11 today with us.
We do have 11 present, but we have 13 commissioners.
Right. So it would be a majority of the commissioners present, correct? Meaning 6?
Correct.
Thank you. Roll call vote.
Okay. I was trying to.
Sorry, didn't mean to rush.
No, you're fine. I was trying to type the motion, and so if I may, can the motion be restated?
One more time, Commissioner Lett.
You guys are pressing me. Okay, the motion is to appeal the decision of the 3-judge panel. And to do that, we need the motion is to file a notice of appeal and to file a stay of the injunction in district court. And assuming that's going to be denied, a motion for a stay along with the appeal in the United States Supreme Court.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lett.
You're welcome, Yvonne.
Commissioner Orton, are we ready? Chair, are we ready for the roll call vote?
Yes, please.
The motion is to appeal the decision of the 3-judge panel, to file a notice of appeal for a stay in the district court and a stay in the U.S. Supreme Court. A yes response means that you agree with the motion. A no response means that you do not agree. I will call the commissioners in order, starting with Donna Callahan.
In favor, aye.
Juanita Curry,
Yes.
Anthony Ede,
Yes.
Brittany Kellum,
No.
Stephen Lett. Stephen Lett, you're on mute, none. Stephen Lett.
Yes.
Marcus Muldoon,
Yes.
Cynthia Orton,
Yes.
Janice Villette,
Yes.
Aaron Wagner,
I am wondering, since I wasn't privy to y'all's personal meeting last Thursday due to family emergency, I cannot vote on that because I'm not privy to what you guys are, and neither are the other 3 new commissioners. So what do we do? Do I vote? I can't vote?
If you would like to abstain from the vote, you would state that you abstain from the vote due to lack of information.
Absolutely abstain because y'all haven't gotten up off that lack of information.
Richard Weiss,
Yes.
and Commissioner Elaine Andrade.
I abstain.
With 8 yes votes, 1 no vote, and 2 abstentions, the motion is approved and carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So next on the agenda is a Voting Rights Act legal counsel. So sorry, I see David Fink's hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we went to the next matter, I just wanted to be clear that in this meeting, that all the commissioners should be aware that if they want legal advice, counsel remains prepared and available to provide that advice. If Commissioner Wagner or any other commissioner is interested in getting advice either from the Fink Bresek firm or from Baker Hostetler, we are available. And just as we provided that advice and information during the meeting that was conducted because we couldn't have a closed session, we are available and we'll be happy to provide that advice. Just let us know and we'll set it up.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
In response to Mr. Fink's gracious
Response.
thank you. Brain fart. Lots of stuff going on this week. It had to be recorded because it was a closed session when we took roll. OMA states all meetings need to be recorded. I expect that recording because I want to hear what they heard, not your version of what you think was asked and heard. So thank you.
Okay, moving on. We'll try again for Voting Rights Act legal counsel. Without objection, I will ask MICRC Executive Director Edward Woods III to facilitate this item. Hearing no objection, please proceed, Mr. Woods.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I hope all is well. We are recommending that Baker Hostetler fill the role as Voting Rights Act counsel. We have 2 representatives for Baker Hostetler to share their vast expertise as it relates to the Voting Rights Act and to answer any questions that you may have. We have with us today Richard Rail and Mark Braden. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. And I will let Mark Braden or Richard Rail provide the expertise, share that with you. And then if we can open up the floor for questions. I do see that Commissioner Lett, our legal liaison, hand is up. So let me defer to him before we proceed. Commissioner Orton.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I would just move that we retain or continue to retain Baker Hostetler as VRA counsel.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion. Second by Commissioner White.
Oh, I think my hand was up, y'all. And you do
So
this
is there
crap
any
all the time.
Is there any debate or discussion on the motion? Commissioner Wagner.
Yes, I believe, don't our voting rights council have to go through the RFP process?
No, Commissioner Wagner. When we had the partisan analysis, we already had election data services on contract, and they had the racial polarizing expert with Lisa Hanley, and then the commission added to that contract for partisan fairness measures, and we're doing the same process. As you know, we're under a compressed timeline. They have the qualifications. They're here to share the qualifications, but we need to move forward as relates to what the court is requiring for us. And so we utilize the same process we used before.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion? Commissioner Eid.
Well, I'd like to hear from the good folks at the law firm to discuss their qualifications and discuss, if they're ready to take on this responsibility.
Okay, I'll turn the time over to you.
So I'm Richard. Whichever one. Why don't I let Richard talk later about the details of the appeal. I'll just talk a little bit about our experience of the firm. I started in redistricting and voting rights litigation when I had a different color hair and probably more of it. The firm and myself have represented and been involved in redistricting litigation and advising redistricting stakeholders in a majority of the states in the country, and have been involved. The first plan that I was involved in drafting was in Ohio, which of course I know is a dirty word to the folks in Michigan, but I worked for the Secretary of State of Ohio, was involved in drafting plans for them. And we've been involved across the country advising various stakeholders in the process. And they have sort of ranged from state legislative bodies to actually people attacking plans adopted by state legislatures or different types of redistricting commissions. So this is familiar ground for us. Representing you is a little bit different than providing advice to a legislative chamber, but it's very similar to much of the work we've done over the years advising legislative chambers. So we can go into great detail on this subject, but I think it's safe to assume I don't know of anyone who has been involved in more advising and litigating of these issues than myself and my partners at the firm.
And so I'm Richard Riley. A lot of you know us. We're litigation counsel. We have also given advice to this commission. We have not actually to date provided Voting Rights Act advice. We were not asked to do that in the first go around. We are available to do that now. And I see four advantages to that under the circumstances that I just want to outline here. Obviously, we have our own interests. That's obvious, that, but there are four good reasons to proceed with this path. The first one is that you already have us here. And that is significant because tomorrow morning, or I guess it'll be early afternoon, the federal three-judge court has asked us in our capacity as litigation counsel to state the commission's position on who will be the Voting Rights Act counsel. And the reason it did that was that the plaintiff's counsel, in a filing earlier this week, in making the case that you all should not be allowed to draw new districts, that the court should just take the pen and draw Detroit itself, made many arguments about alleged problems with this body. And one of them was that the Voting Rights Act counsel, Mr. Adelson, had resigned and that you don't have a replacement. The fact that we're in the room and can start right away, I think it would be a nice rejoinder to that, and it could be very effective to point out to the court tomorrow morning in making the case, as we intend to make very vociferously tomorrow, that in a remedial proceeding, assuming that we are not successful in the stay that you have just directed us to seek, assuming that does not work out, you should have the pen. That is our goal tomorrow. That's what we have briefed. We have that right. We have the legal basis for it. And we want this commission to draw the maps. That's what the people of the state wanted. And this little component of it, it's one part of it, but it is material. The other side has raised it, and the court has expressly asked the commission's position on that. So if we walk away today without us being the choice, we still need to answer that question tomorrow, and we don't have an answer. The second reason that this is a good idea is that the Voting Rights Act counsel, in your case, should we not obtain a stay, will be very specific to the litigation. The court has said certain things about the prior maps. It has maybe not said as much as it could have about what the Voting Rights Act means in this context, but the whole goal of the Voting Rights Act Council will be to provide you the information that you need to hopefully result in a map that the three-judge panel will approve, assuming it's necessary without, for example, a stay pending appeal. We stand in a good position to do that because we handle the litigation. We know what's in the record. We know what the expert testimony in the case says. We know what the plaintiff's position on various case issues is. And so we would be prepared to offer our perspective, and it's a very informed perspective, on what types of strategies provide the best chance of getting a map approved by the three-judge panel, should that prove necessary. The third reason that our this is a good path is the one that Mark said. We do this work, we do provide this advice, we do this litigation throughout the country, so we do have the expertise. Mark has outlined that, and I won't belabor the point. The fourth reason that it is a good idea is that we were not wound up in the trial court's decision. As I said earlier, the commission did not go to Baker and Hostetler for Voting Rights Act advice in drawing the prior maps. And so this is not a scenario where the court might look askance, as it might if you have, for example, if Mr. Adelson had stayed on, there would be an issue with the court having sort of a mistrust of that individual that may taint the court's perspective of maps. We're not in that position. We can stand up in court and say quite candidly and correctly that we defended the advice that you were given, and based on the direction we have just received, we're going to continue to defend the advice that you were given by Mr. Adelson, but it wasn't actually our advice. And so we would be able to come in sort of as a clean slate and offer that position. We're willing to do it. We have very much value the partnership with this body. We care about the state. We care about this institution, its mission, and we have done our best to defend its maps and 4 lawsuits to date. And so we have every incentive and every interest, if you desire, in continuing in that role.
Thank you. Mr. Fink.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to speak to this briefly, in part because of the first thing that Richard said, which was that he acknowledged that they have an interest in recommending themselves, if you will, as we always do, professionals. I can speak a little bit more objectively to say that I have had what I really will call the privilege of working with the Baker firm during this process. And what I've observed is they are extremely qualified, extremely competent, very knowledgeable in this area, and in particular on issues related to the VRA, which we've discussed. And they carry an unusual quality that you have all been able to observe by now, but I find it very important in attorneys. All effective attorneys speak legalese, but the Baker lawyers who have been working with us are also fluent in English. And that's been a very positive thing. They are able to translate for folks who are not experts in this area effectively and communicate to allow the commission to make informed decisions. In the end, they would be a fantastic choice. But I have to add, they're the only choice, and they're the only choice for a very important reason. If you don't have VRA counsel on board by tomorrow at 1:30, the chances that the commission will be able effectively to keep control or to have control of the mapping and redistricting process during this remedial phase is far less likely. Baker is a great choice. They're the right choice, and they're the only choice if you want to continue to control the process. So if that recommendation isn't strong enough, call me later.
Thank you. Commissioner Litt.
Thank you. I echo Attorney Fink's comments. I've, as liaison with the attorneys and all the attorneys, I've had an opportunity to observe and interact with both the Fink firm and the Baker firm, and they are both excellent firms. Certainly, the Baker firm is as good or better than the VRA attorney we had, which was Bruce, and I have no qualms in putting them forward for the VRA attorney. And as David says, we really don't have much of a choice. Fortunately, we have a good firm on board already that we can utilize.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner.
Thank you, Chair. My question is, do we have an updated bill as to what that will entail, having them as VRA counsel if we so choose to go that route?
Can you address
Thank you,
that?
Commissioner Wagner, Commissioner Orton, if I may. I mean, we'll really be based upon hours. No different, Commissioner Wagner, than it was with the partisan fairness measures. It'd just be based on the hours spent. So there's not an increase in the rate. It's just the additional work. I'd like to echo what Commissioner Lettis shared. I also want you to know I did take a look at the three principles as it relates to the Voting Rights Act. Two of them are here, Mark Braden and Richard Rail, as well as our point person from Baker Hostetler, which is Kate McKnight, and they all have extensive experience. It's on their resumes. It's something that you can also look at for the public on their website. And Echo, very easy to work with, very knowledgeable, and the speaking of clear English. So I think Mr. Fink's hand is up, but I think the commission might be ready to vote, Commissioner Orton. So Mr. Fink.
Just a very quick comment to be responsive to what Commissioner Wagner was asking, and that is that while you can't anticipate the actual cost because cost is based on the hours that, as Edward so properly, Mr. Woods so properly pointed out. But what is important to know is if you were to bring in alternative VRA counsel, there would be a tremendous amount of work that they would have to do to get up to speed, and the commission would have to pay for that. And it isn't a cost with the Baker firm because they are absolutely up to speed. They can hit the ground running this evening. I mean, they're ready to go. So that's the only comment I wanted to make about cost.
Thank you. Okay, I see Commissioner Eads' hand.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm very comfortable with Baker Hostetler. You know, I've obviously worked a lot with them over the past couple of years defending our work. Even though I don't necessarily agree with it all, I agree with the process. And, you know, they're very easy to work with, and I think they do a great job. A quick question is, if, as Mr. Fink just alluded to, let's say at a later point, we decide to perhaps hire a different VRA council. You know, this is hypothetical down the road, not saying we will, but is there a chance for collaboration between the groups if that's what the commission wants?
Commissioner Eid, we would have to go back and take a look at it based on the contract. The commission would have control of that process, so we can cross that bridge when it comes. Thank you so much.
And just if you're posing that to us as the lawyers, can we collaborate? The answer is yes. Incidentally, we were asked that question when we interviewed to become the litigation counsel, and you asked us, can you work with Bruce Adelson, who you'd already hired as your Voting Rights Act counsel? And the answer we gave then was yes. And I think we have followed through. As I said, we have vigorously defended what was advised. It wasn't our advice. We've defended it because that's our role to do. So you tell us what to do. We don't tell you what to do. That's how we roll.
Thank you. Okay, seeing nothing else, I think we're ready to take a vote. Probably a roll call vote.
Good afternoon, commissioners. We'll begin a roll call vote. The motion is to continue to retain Baker Hostetler as VRA counsel. A yes vote?
Can I just say, not continue because they weren't our VRA counsel before, so.
To retain?
Wording, yeah, to retain them as our VRA counsel, I believe.
That's what I had at first, and then I switched.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. To continue, to retain Baker Hostetler as VRA counsel for the commission. A yes vote means that yes, you would like to retain, and a no vote is no, that you would not like to retain. I will start with Commissioner Callahan.
Yes.
Juanita Curry.
Yes.
Anthony Eid.
Yes.
Brittany Kellum.
Yes.
Rhonda Lang. She didn't pop on, did she? No. Steve Lett.
Yes.
Marcus Muldoon.
Yes.
Cynthia Orton.
Yes.
Janice Villette.
Yes.
Aaron Wagner.
Mine is a no confidence vote. I don't know if I can get away with that or if it's just a no, so make up your mind.
Sorry, Commissioner Wagner, a no confidence vote is not currently an option in the commission's rules of procedure. It would be yes, no, or an abstention due to conflict of interest or lack of information.
Then I would say no.
Richard Weiss.
Yes.
Elaine Andrade.
Yes.
With, excuse me, with a vote of 10 yes to 1 no, the motion passes. It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next on the agenda is our potential meeting schedule. Without objection, I will ask MICRC Executive Director Edward Woods III to facilitate this item. Hearing no objection, please proceed, Mr. Woods.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Orton. Commissioners, as you know, we do have a special meeting scheduled for next week at 10 o'clock a.m. We do have a special meeting scheduled for next week at 10 o'clock a.m. We do have a full agenda, and I would probably plan for at least 2 to 3 hours. It might be 4, depending on some of the discussion. But we also need to set our meeting calendar at that agenda as well. But with regards to the mapping process, while we do the appeals, we still have to follow the court order unless we get a stay. We need to identify dates for potential mapping, as well as in-person meetings in the Detroit area. Once again, we need to identify dates for mapping virtually and potential in-person meetings in the Detroit area. And the reason why I'm asking for that information now, so I have enough time to get those things scheduled. As you know, we have to have the audio visual and the space. And we're going to probably have to get some people to assist with registration. So it will be a huge process. And we kind of want to get the jump start on it now. Some of you may have vacations planned, medical appointments, personal business, what have you. And so what I'm looking at, if you could help me, and if there's any particular days, starting with the 16th of January, all the way through, let's just say February for now, that it's just absolutely is a problem and will not work for you because you have something scheduled. And if you can give me a moment, I have multiple screens. That's why I look to my right and left so much during the meeting, so I can pay attention to what's going on. So I want to make sure I have these dates. But once again, if you can identify the dates that you're absolutely not available from January 16th to the end of February, that would be helpful so we can avoid as many conflicts as possible. Commissioner Orton, if you can just, whoever's hand is up, or we can just go from there.
Are you asking for those dates right now or for us to send you those dates?
I'm actually asking for those dates right now, the absolute dates. I mean,
Okay.
These are no dates that I'm not available, because that would be helpful, and then we can plan from there.
Okay, Commissioner Eid.
Yeah, so I guess my question is, are we planning on going back to being completely in person like we were for the first map drawing process?
No, it's a hybrid, Commissioner Eid. So I want to know the date so I don't schedule an in-person meeting if that date is not available. So I need some lead time.
Do we know, and we might not know, and that's okay if we don't, but do we know how many in-person meetings we're going to have in the Detroit area?
Not yet. I just need to know your dates that you're not available, so I don't schedule anything on a date that you have planned.
Well, I'm available at all times, so.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Commissioner Lett.
Yeah, I'm available also, but I think we need to be aware that if we go back to drawing maps, it's going to be 5 days a week, 9 to 5, whether it's hybrid or in person or all Zoom. So this is not, we're going to meet for 2 hours every other Thursday. We're going to get back at it. Thank you.
It might be more than that. I remember when we were in Lansing, sometimes we'd go more than 9 to 5.
Don't scare our new commissioners. Commissioner Callahan. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I would be unavailable February 2nd through February 9th.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else have dates that they are unavailable? Commissioner Wagner.
What's the time frame we're looking at again, please?
Tuesday, January 16th.
Okay.
To the end of February.
That's what I thought. Would it not be prudent, because I've got a lot of things going on and a lot of irons in the fire, for us not to send out an email to the commissioners and come back? Because I honestly can't give you an answer.
Okay.
Because I have somebody going into surgery. I've got other things I've got to go through. And I know the 16th and the 17th for sure I'm not available. But there's time periods there I would be. So like, it wouldn't be prudent for me to tell you the entire public what's going on. But
No, I just need the absolute dates you're not available. so I can work
Well,
from that.
like I said, I've got timeframes within those dates. If you can get with me later, I can give you those.
Okay, no, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Villette.
Edward, I sent you an email, but the only date I have right now is in those timeframes that you gave is February 28th.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Callahan, your hand is still up. Do you have something else or just input? Okay. Anybody else have a date? Juanita.
Yes, I have an appointment with my doctor. I think it's on the 14th of January, but I'm not sure about February. But I could pretty much get the date I want for February, so that should be okay.
All right, and I just want to reiterate, these are dates that you're absolutely not available the whole day. I do know that you might have appointments, on a particular day or time. I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying, like, it could be a anniversary date. I don't know what you have going on. I'm just looking more for absolute dates. I'm not available. That does not mean you're not available at a particular time. I'm just trying to wipe out dates where no one is absolutely not available that whole day. So that's what I'm really working on, because I know people's schedules change, they're fluid, they have appointments. I get that. But if there's any absolute dates that you're not available, that would be helpful.
Okay. I don't see anyone else's hand up. I see a note from Commissioner Kellum. I assume you see that.
I do. Thank you so much.
Okay. And, okay, next on the agenda is new business. Is there any new business from any commissioner? David Fink.
This is not new business, of course, as I'm not a commissioner, I couldn't present anything. Instead, it's in an odd way, it's just to clarify something on the record for the commissioners to know. Commissioner Lett correctly pointed out when he made his motion twice that he was indicating he would expect the district court to deny the motion to stay. I do want the commissioners to know that while it's an unusual thing that we have to first ask the trial court for a stay before we ask the appellate court for the stay, so in this case, the 3-judge panel before we go to the Supreme Court, but it is not impossible for the trial court to grant a stay. I have actually, in the course of my career, had a trial court grant a stay, not because the judge thought that he had made a mistake, but because he considered the implications of the order and the possibility that the sequencing wouldn't, if he were ultimately reversed, it would be unfair to a jury. So it's conceivable that and from my perspective, not as unlikely as you might think, that the 3-judge panel could say that based on the timing and the circumstances, that a stay is the right thing to do. So I wanted to say that here because I didn't want the record to, our public perspective to be suggesting that we're filing a motion that we don't think can be granted. It could be granted.
And that is the order of things, right? We have to file that before we can go on. So thank you for that clarification. Commissioner Weiss.
Yes, since all the recent events in the last couple months, I believe our executive director and communication director, Mr. Woods, is on a lowered salary. So what I'd like to do is make a motion that we take his salary back to 40 hours a week or back to what it was prior to this, because I believe his duties have increased dramatically because of certain events that have happened and are happening now and what is maybe about to happen down the road here. So I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay, for new business, thank you. Seconded by Commissioner Curry. Okay, so there's a motion to, how do I say it? To
increase.
Want to help, increase Director Woods' hours back to full time. Is that what you're saying, Commissioner Weiss?
Yes, that's because that's what he was being paid before, and we went on a lower schedule, so he had agreed, and we agreed to lower that. I'd like to take it back to his normal salary because of the duties, I'm sure, have increased dramatically.
Okay, and that is seconded by Commissioner Curry. Is there any discussion or debate on the motion?
Question.
Commissioner Wagner?
Aren't we supposed to just be discussing what's actually on the agenda for the special meeting, and those motions should be brought up as new business for the next meeting?
Well, we can bring up new business now in this meeting.
Correct, but I'm saying he can't make a motion and us vote on it in this meeting, but it can be brought up as new business for the next meeting. I was under the understanding special meetings were only what is on the agenda.
I was under the understanding that we didn't even have to have an agenda for a special meeting, but if I can have some clarification from our parliamentarian.
Thank you.
I mean, I would view the motion as in order, even though it's not listed on the agenda. It was motioned and seconded, so at this point, it is before the commission.
Okay. Okay, I thought I saw another hand up, but I don't see one now. Commissioner Curry?
I think that we should go back to our original salary too, because we're going to be working, I don't know how many hours. And we took the lower rate because we weren't working hardly.
That's a different motion, so
Well,
we'll
that motion.
stick to this first.
I move motion that we do that.
Commissioner Wagner, do you have something else?
Oh, bear with me, you guys. My week has been crazy. Yes, I do have a freaking question about the motion, but Juanita, I get that you got it out there. What were we just discussing right before this? Before Juanita said what she did.
Director Woods going back to full-time.
Oh, yes. Dang it, now it's gone.
Okay,
It was important too, but I don't remember what it is.
it'll come back. Commissioner Eid?
Well, personally, I agree with both motions, but I'm wondering if my fellow commissioners would be willing to table it and add it to the agenda at the next meeting, just because I think we should try to be in the habit of keeping with the agenda. But I do agree with both motions if we do end up voting on it.
Commissioner Lett?
Well, Commissioner Curry has stated what she desires in the motion. There was not a second, and I would agree with Anthony that this should be added to the next meeting where we have an opportunity for a full and frank discussion regarding that.
Thank you. Commissioner Wagner?
Remembered, thank you. And I had to write it down. If that was Commissioner Weiss's, sorry, I totally mutilated your name. Motion. I was actually going to suggest that Edward get some kind of office help as opposed to possibly upping his contract, because he just stated to me on the phone today, and I hope this isn't outing you, Edward, that your plate's full, and I get having full plates. So I would rather like to see that amended, possibly to consider actually getting him some help to get his job done. Thank you.
Commissioner Weiss?
Thank you for that reply, Commissioner Wagner. So I guess my question would be then, Mr. Woods, do you believe you are swamped, and would you like some help? And if so, I think we should discuss this.
I think I could bring back a motion, or bring back a recommendation, Commissioner Weiss, with regards to that. I do agree with your motion, just so I'm clear and on the record with regards to the amount of time that is being spent. And thank you for your kindness and courtesy, as well as the commission for considering that. So thank you.
So Commissioner Lett, and then I have something.
Yes, I think certainly, and it was going to be my intent to bring something up at the next hearing regarding getting some additional office help for Edward. However, I think that it would be beneficial for him to come back to us at the next meeting with a recommendation of what some office help would look like. And instead of us just shooting from the hip and saying, let's go hire 5 people and take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion on the floor and a second. My question is, do we want to think that out some more and bring it back in the next meeting, or do we want to vote on that now? Commissioner Weiss, are you wanting us to vote on that motion now, or are you going to?
If it's all legal and agreed upon, I would say yes. I think Edward should be maybe a week ago already. I know his duties have increased. So if we can vote, yes, I'd like to have a vote.
Okay, then we will take, Commissioner Villette. Oh, you're on mute.
Maybe a week ago, but maybe we should think about making it retroactive because he has been busy, not just starting today, So we should talk about making it retroactive.
That's good.
Okay, so let's talk about making it retroactive. Commissioner Weiss, you have something?
Yes, I guess retroactive is good. Ms. Villette, as usual, you're right on ball. So I guess we should maybe discuss taking it back 2 weeks, a week, month, 2 months. I don't know.
Let's just go with January 1.
Okay, Edward, thank you very much for that.
Good suggestion. Okay, so we have so the motion then, Commissioner Weiss, is to restore Edward Woods to full-time retroactive starting January 1st.
Correct.
Okay, and that's seconded.
Second.
And Commissioner Wagner.
Nope, I forgot again. Never mind.
Okay, we are ready for a vote. I think a roll call vote is in order.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The motion before you is to restore Executive Director Woods' hours and pay back to full-time retroactive beginning January 1st, 2024. A yes vote means that you are in support of the motion, and a no vote means that you are not in support of the motion. I will begin with Juanita Curry.
Yes.
Anthony Ede,
Yes.
Brittany Kellum,
Yes.
Stephen Lett,
Yes.
Marcus Muldoon,
Yes.
Cynthia Orton,
Yes.
Janice Villette,
Yes.
Aaron Wagner,
No.
Richard Weiss,
Double yes.
Elaine Andrade,
Yes.
Donna Callahan,
Yes.
with 10 yes and 1 no. The motion carries. It's passed and approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so as the items, is there any other new business?
Juanita made a motion.
Juanita made a motion, but it
didn't get a
wasn't
second.
seconded.
What was that?
Sorry, Commissioner Lett, I was talking to. What did you say?
She did not get a second.
Right.
I'll second it so we can discuss it.
And I
So,
move to table it to the next meeting.
We have a motion and a second and a motion to table it. So I guess we discuss the motion to table it first. Do we have a second on the motion to table?
Second.
I'll second as well.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to table Commissioner Curry's motion to raise our pay until the next meeting, January 11th. Can we, we'll just do a hands raised vote. So all in favor of tabling that motion to the next meeting, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, raise your hand and say nay.
Nay.
Okay, so the motion, the ayes have it. The motion passes. We will table that to the next meeting. So as the items on the agenda are completed and the commission has no further business, a motion to adjourn is in order. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Commissioner
moved.
Wagner?
Before we adjourn, I am requesting, please, one more time, the recording from y'all's closed meeting of last Thursday.
We have a
Address this-
motion
address this new business. for
out
the-
of order that
Okay,
does not pertain to what we're talking about.
but.
You
it
can take
should.
that up with,
I have.
you want to take
I
it
would
up.
like the Secretary of State to give.
We have a motion on the floor.
Thank you.
Do we have a second to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, and we are adjourned at 5:47 PM. Thank you.
Welcome, new commissioners.
Thank you, commissioners.